guys to part 2 of our head preparation feature. So again, the weather's thawed out eventually from the past few days, so we had temperatures down to -12. It's now sitting about 7 or 8, so all the pipes have defrosted, so we've now got water so we can carry on conducting our head preparation. Here is one of these Burco boilers, the old get them in sort of cafes and stuff like that, or industrial cafeterias, just for boiling up the water. What I do though is place some of this chicken wire in the bottom, just to keep the heads off the plate in the bottom, and a top tip, dishwasher tablets, so that'll get rid of all the grease, it'll break down all the grease and stuff in the heads. I just find that it works a lot easier with this, and there's less mess and less smell as well. So I'll put a couple of them in and then we'll go and fill it up. Right guys, so what I've been doing is waiting for the Burco boiler to get up to the right temperature. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the fallow head in first, because it's the biggest and it will take a longer time to cook. So just to run through the cooking times that I use, so for sort of roe deer size I put them in for 50 minutes, for smaller stuff 30 to 40 minutes, fallow probably about an hour, and red deer sometimes up to about an hour, 15 hour 20. I'll just keep looking at them and see where they look. The one thing that you can do is if you overboil them, all the sort of little platelets in the skull that join together, they'll start separating. When you're power washing it, things can fall apart, which is not good. So here we go, we'll put the fallow head in now, start that cooking. So the fallow head's been in for about 20 minutes now, so I've just placed the muntjac heads in as well, ensuring that the antlers are kept out of the water. We do have bits of string there to hold them up if we need to, so we just use these bits of string, but they're sitting there quite well, so we'll see how it goes. Okay guys, here we go. Just my least favourite part of this job is obviously washing the heads off with a power washer. As you can see, fully kitted out and waterproofs, and obviously the hood and everything. Safety glasses, health and safety is always a very important point, because there will be brains and bits of tissue and everything flying everywhere, so get yourself prepared. So just a quick word about our setup. Obviously we've got the power washer, and obviously this is where we do the actual head cleaning itself. This is one of these old joinery mate type tables with the little clamps, so you can actually clamp the head down, stop it flying all over the place. So it's just something that works for us. It doesn't have to work for you, but you will need to hold the head down by some means or another. Okay guys, what I've done here is I've just taken the heads out of the boiler. They've had their time. I'm going to start with the fallow one. So I've just placed the rest of these into water to stop them from drying out as we're processing the other heads. If they dry out, it just makes it a little bit more difficult to get all the meat and stuff off. So just keep them nice and wet. And so as you see, I've got the fallow head out. You can see it's starting to dry off already. So I'm just going to get the power hose on this and start taking off all that skin and stuff from the top. Right guys, so as you can see, the top half's clean, so what I'm going to do now is turn it over and do the underneath, and then I'll work at either side from there. Right, so as you can see, there's still some bits and pieces in there, like the eyeballs and stuff, that are a bit pink, which means it's not done right yet. So, but we've taken most of the stuff off. The eyeballs and everything are still in. All I'm going to do now is stick it back into the boiler for an extra 10 minutes. I need to get myself a level working place. So when we're getting towards the teeth, we just need to be careful because obviously we need to keep the teeth. A wee bit of brains coming out there because I went in through the eye side. I think what I'm going to do with this one is stick this in for another quick boil as well, just to get the last bits off. As you can see, it's coming up quite clean already. That's the spraying finished, as you can probably see. Bits and pieces all over me. So as you can see, all the heads have been cleaned off, and I've still got the teeth to do. All we do with a knife is basically just use a knife, scrape it all off, like so. This is basically where the tooth has been actually inside the jaw. And then with this end part here, I'm just going to scrape that off. This one's quite an old one. So you can see that, the end is actually all sealed up. Whereas if we do one of these other ones, well, that's actually a closed cusp one as well. So these are all old animals. So the younger the animal, basically the end part here is sort of hollow because it's still growing. So that's a good way to determine the age of a Chinese water deer. This is the peroxide that we use. Basically you can get it from any sort of hairdresser supply, but there is other stuff out there. 12% volume is probably the maximum we'll be able to get because of people making explosives and stuff out of the purer stuff. There is other stuff on the market that people use. I've never personally used this before, but we've got it here. I'm quite happy with my peroxide. One thing I will say with the peroxide, when you're using the peroxide, if you can, get it in the sun. Get them in the sun after you've painted them. And also, when it's drying, get them into some heat and it'll bring them out a lot whiter. The peroxide here can come in a liquid form as it is now, but it can also come in a cream. And I actually find the cream better, but we're just finishing off all this sort of stuff we've got left over before we buy some more of the cream. You get a lot of the guys who'll cover it in cotton wool and then soak it in the peroxide. I don't find that we need that. I just paint it on with a paintbrush, and we'll show you the results later. Okay guys, what I tend to do is put it into a cup, and we've got a little paintbrush here, and we just use the paintbrush to paint on. Obviously you've got the gloves on because we are working with chemicals, and it does and will turn your skin white. So all we're doing is brushing it all on as much as we can. So we're taking care when we get to the pedicles, but we don't get any onto the actual antlers themselves. As you can see, there's bits and pieces of the brush still on there. It doesn't matter because obviously once it's all been dried off and they've been sitting for a little while, we will then wash it all off again anyway and let it dry. You will be surprised how much the bones themselves actually whiten naturally just because of drying out. And that's basically it. All I'll do is leave that to put it into a nice warm boiler room and let it dry off, and it will go white, I assure you. Here's some that we prepared before, just a few row, but just to show you how white they actually come up. Well guys, that concludes my little introduction to prepping of heads. I know I did it quite quickly and it was all self-filmed, so apologies for that. But if you've got any questions, make sure you put them into the comments and I'll get back to you with the answers. As I said before, and I'll say it again, there's many ways to skin a cat and there's many ways to prep heads. Everyone does it differently. This is the way that I do it and it works for me. So use what you can at your disposal and get them done.